People, DG, I'm back again. Now I'm late to the party, but Eden Hazard, he's gave him many a comment over the last 5 months in regards to his Chelsea future, and he's some rather ambiguous comments he's thrown up recently. I'll get onto that, but just before I begin, probably in the last 6 months, 5 6 months since the World Cup, or just before the World Cup, excuse my maths, he was very vocal before the during Conte's reign. He's very vocal before the World Cup. Definitely during the World Cup, he's very ambiguous, and he's touched on his comments before. Um, Obviously, while the Premier League's been going in regards to his future, now Chelsea are clearly in contract talks with him, and as you would be, his contract's up in 2020. He's arguably the best player in the Premier League between him and Sergio, give or take. We know Hazard polarizes his opinion not because of ability. Everybody knows he's sick, but there's many lenses you can look at him. You can just admire him at face value and look at it as a unique thing, like every human being is unique, and that he's a wonderful footballer. You can look at him through the lens of previous greats and say, why isn't he there? You can say, for someone with so much ability and he scores goals, why does he sometimes go on seasons where he don't, a season where he didn't score, or he doesn't score enough, or be a killer enough, or there's all different lenses you can look at the man from. My personal opinion, I believe he's a wonderful footballer, and he has been. I mean, we've all seen him basically since his Lille days. He was very public on his decision to join Chelsea ahead of United and the other clubs that were interested. He actually, we'll allude to it later, but he mentioned the Champions League, and a big factor in him going to Chelsea, because at the time I believe Chelsea, sadly for us Arsenal fans, won the Champions League. But yeah, for me, he's got big questions to ask of himself in regards to his future. But this is exactly what he said after the game against Southampton. I don't want that in reference to, like, obviously I'm missing out context a bit, but that was in reference to his future and leaving properly and treating the club with class and that. But he said, I want what's good for me, but I want what's good for the club, because the club has given me everything. I don't want to say, yes, I'm signing a new contract, and in the end I don't sign. So I'll see. Sometimes in my head, I wake up in the morning, I think I want to go. Sometimes I want to stay. It's hard. It is my future. I am 27 and I will turn 28. That's why I spoke after the World Cup, and that I said that I think it's time to change, because I played a great World Cup. He obviously went on and said, I am really in the game. I'm playing good football at the moment. Madrid is the best club for me. I don't want to lie today. It is my dream since I was a kid. I was dreaming about this club. We will see. I don't want to talk about this every day. I don't have time, but we'll talk about my future soon, I think so. Obviously, Hazard has also won 2 Premier Leagues, an FA Cup and a League Cup, as well as the Europa League at Chelsea. So he's won everything on offer apart from the Champions League, which is the one big factor in him, on top of the fact that Chelsea are a winning club. Sad to say for me. Yeah, you can see why. For me, from that, it's a hard decision, because I'd want to leave through the front door if I was him, because you look at Courtois, and I don't want to say he's a Chelsea legend, because I'm not a Chelsea fan. I don't know how you lot view yourself, but I would have thought you would have kept Courtois in relative high regard. All of that's probably gone now because of the way he moved. If I was Hazard personally, I'm a different person to Hazard. I won't really care what the fans have to say in the grand scheme of things 10 years from now if I want to make the move. But I'd want to leave through the front door. There's just certain ways about doing things in life. You just want to leave clean. You don't want to leave through the back door. It's exhausting, it's sneaky, and it just makes your life easier to leave the club with dignity. I'm sure Chelsea fans don't want to let him go, but if Madrid pay, I don't know, where to offer 150 plus million, and his desire, then what can you say? There's levels. They're more competent club in regards to winning Champions Leagues, and the one thing that eludes him at club level. And then it's a very tough decision. It's a very tough decision, because Chelsea feels good. He's an important player. He's playing. At the end of the day, Chelsea are still. We got to remember, like, what, 2 years ago. Well, City won last year, and this campaign's playing. But 2 years ago, Chelsea won the league. So he's at a competitive club. I don't know how Chelsea have calmed down with the spending, or how they're moving with the spending, but if they get back to how they previously were spending and spend correctly, and back, sorry, with the way he's playing football, again, it's early days, but they could play great football and do great things. It's all up to them. He's torn between a rock and a hard place, because it's not an easy decision, but what he has to do is be honest with himself, look himself in the mirror, and ask himself a serious question. Does he believe that staying at Chelsea, because I do think Chelsea will give him what he wants, and quite rightly, financially, but does he concede that staying at Chelsea is financially, from a financial standpoint, better yet, and from a sporting standpoint, is feasible in terms of trying to possibly accomplish what you want? Because Chelsea are playing well, and it's funny how now everyone's got them shooting for the league title or competing for it, but people weren't mentioning them at the start. They were saying they got to rebuild. does he stay with that and stay with Surrey and see what Surrey could possibly do, or does he join Madrid? And for what it's worth, Madrid have won the champs, but I mean, Lutegi seems to be having his own question marks. But it's Madrid; it's a dream he's always had since a boy. They've won Champions Leagues many a time, so he could obviously win it there. Obviously, Ronaldo's left as well, so there's the chance to be the superstar there, to be the man of influence there. There's obviously still egos, but Ronaldo would have been the top dog, and you lot have to coexist and work around him in terms of attacking areas, in terms of who's the superstar in the team, and things like that. So he needs to decide. He's 27. I mean, he's not got any more questions to answer in terms of England. So you need to ask yourself, do you believe you can win the Champions League at Chelsea? I do think that's his dream. And that's the one thing that eludes him. Obviously, he probably wants to win the World Cup, but that's been and gone. He's 28 in January, like he said. The next World Cup, he can make it, but it's wishful thinking to think he'll be levels then. I don't know if he's like Messi and Ronaldo, then sure, why not? But yeah, for me, for what it's worth, just generally about Hazard, I've spoken about it many times, but I think I've always thought this to myself. Maybe if, and I'm not saying Hazard's life has been easy, it hasn't, but and I don't know him to be speaking about his life, but I do think if he maybe if football wasn't a hobby in the sense that he had a nice life, his family were all sporting athletes, and it was just something he loves to do, and he still plays with that joy. If it wasn't that, and it was literally a means to an end, and a way of escaping poverty, like Alexis Sanchez, for example, of Arsenal, would he be more of a killer in front of goal? Would he be more of a killer in general? Because he is a very joyous person, and that's what I love about Hazard. He's a jokey guy off the pitch. Looks like he can have decent bants, and he plays with that smile, and he's a lovely footballer in terms of dribbling, and that's probably the main thing I love about him, is dribbling. And yeah, he's truly a maverick, to be fair with you. Yeah, man. He said he wanted to go in the summer, like he said, but it's up to him. For me, he really needs to understand what he wants to do. I don't know Chelsea's wage structure, but if it's Eden Hazard and he's playing like this, you give him whatever the hell he wants. You pay that money and give him what he wants, and tie him down for the best part of his career now, and then try and win stuff. He's a world class player. There's not a team in the world that he will not play at and exist at. And he's always been a global superstar, but definitely since the World Cup, people are looking at him like, yo, Hazard's moving a bit serious now. So I think they're giving what he wants, but he needs to decide, does he believe he can win the Champions League there? If he wants to still win league titles at Chelsea and stuff, that's all cool. Again, I'm not a Chelsea fan, I don't know his intentions, but if I look at it, it's Eden Hazard, he's come to Chelsea, he's answered every question there is to answer in England. Chelsea are at a different time in that they're not City now, they're trying to get to City's level the same way we are. It's Madrid. I mean, Madrid aren't in the best way of things right now, personally, in their recent form, but they're Champions League winners. It's his dream to play for Madrid, like he said. Arguably, in the last few years, there's never been a better time, now that Ronaldo's gone, to go to Madrid. The question mark is, are they going to pay Chelsea the money? If I'm Madrid, I'd give Chelsea, whatever they want within reason. Like, I wouldn't pay a madness, but you're looking at 100. I would be glad to part with 100. Up to 170, you will probably talk about pushing £200 million for Eden Hazard. And really and truly, you're not getting your investment back in longevity terms. But if he's 28, if he can give you 3-4 years of elite stuff, because he looks like a killer now. He looks like someone sat down and said, yo, Hazard, it's time to be a killer. And I remember Cesc was on, I don't remember the show, but he was talking about Hazard when he was doing the punditry thing. And he said he always tells Hazard, you can be what you want, like it's down to you. And it's true. He's got the ability. If he was to retire tomorrow, he's a Prem great, essentially, of sorts, an icon. He'll be remembered. But it's down to him how good he wants to be. Does he want to go down as the best, I don't know, Belgian player and Chelsea winger that's ever played? Does he want to eclipse previous Chelsea legends? Like, it'll be hard for him to obviously be held in more esteem than John Terry. But does he want to be bigger than John Terry? Does he want to be bigger than Drogba and all of these sort of players? If he wants to do that, then he has to stay at Chelsea and win league titles and hope the club invests more competitively. Or does he concede? Leave through the front door at Chelsea. I'm pretty sure most Chelsea fans will understand if he states that he wants to leave and things like that and go to Madrid. It is what it is. And leave with class and go and do what you want to do at Madrid. It's all up to him. Obviously, if he signs a new contract, he complicates matters as well. Because if he then decides that I want to stay at Chelsea, sign a new deal, I've made the wrong decision. I still think clubs will pay for you, but you've then made it a bit trickier for you. And it'll be good for Chelsea because they're in a stronger negotiating standpoint. So yeah, man, we'll see. We'll see. Money isn't an issue, and it shouldn't be. So we'll see. Maybe he'll have to dig his heels in if he really wants a Madrid move. So he needs to decide. He's got to be prepared to step on somebody's toes. I mean, so yeah, he's got to be honest with you. But That's my thoughts anyways. Guys, DG, I'm out.